All right, we are here at my outdoor worm bin, and we are going to do the last update of the frozen versus raw cabbage. Here's the critter hole. This is where the frozen was. This is where the raw was. We're also going to update the mango seed if we find it in the pine cone. And then finally, we're going to do a massive feeding. Things have been building up since I've been doing this experiment. I just need to kind of get rid of it. And right away, right at the top, we're finding some good worms just all over, which is great just as I go like here. And that initially, when I looked in here, just lots of castings right on the top. So we're gonna be adding a lot of bedding and a lot of food. So let's kind of dig in and oh my gosh, right away, right where the frozen zone was, just lots of worms. Check those out. They are just in there. And it's been a little bit cooler here in the upper 60s, and the bedding itself feels a little bit cooler, but the moisture is great. Oh wow, look at that. Babies and big ones and all the way throughout. Wow, that is great. So let's keep going. I don't expect there to be, yeah, just the portions of the frozen that actually probably was not frozen. And I just pulled a bunch of worms out of right there. But that's really all that's left there. So let's get into the raw and see how that is going. And I brought some scissors. I may have to, wow, I just look at these worms and all in there, just fantastic. So let's get into this raw and see what we've got going. This is pretty still hard. I mean, I don't know if you can hear that, but that is still pretty crisp cabbage. So I don't know how much they're going to have gotten into it. Root structure is still there, but it looks to me like it's drying out. So maybe it hasn't grown since the last time. I mean, there was a lot of roots last time. And the worms are getting in between all the crevices. So I think this is starting to go downhill as far as cabbage goes, but uphill as far as feeding worms goes. Here's a bunch of mites right here, the bottom of my index finger there, or below my index finger, I should say. So the decomposers are getting into this, which means the microbes, etc. are too. So, and there's a bunch of worms in through here too. So they are finally 16 days after we put this in, really attacking the raw cabbage. And here is just a massive black soldier fly larvae. It's looks like it's almost to the pupae form. Yeah, all through here, lots of worms. So they are feeding on it. And these worms have only had a choice of cabbage, so they are gonna start to get a better choice. So let me kind of put these to the side. We might run into some more. Oop, I think that may be the mango seed, so I'll update that. But I kind of want to get the bedding that is on the sides here, which there's just not a lot of bedding. They've been going through bedding too. And a few videos ago, I think I added a bunch of bedding. But yeah, look at all this, still lots of worms. So I'm just trying to get some of the bedding that's on the sides up into here, mix it around a little bit. Because when I say massive feeding, well, you saw it, it's gonna be a massive feeding for them. It's been in my freezer, it has been frozen solid. Lots of worms on this toilet roll cardboard here. They are really all throughout it. But wow, they're on the sides, they're everywhere. They are absolutely everywhere throughout this bin. Lots of worms here. So I think they're gonna be okay with this massive feeding. And again, this bin is well over 200 and something days old. So it's teeming with microbes. It's teeming with all the kind of bin critters that help digest food. So this is not something I would do with a brand new bin, or even a bin that's not quite that old. I wouldn't necessarily try this at home. Lots of worms still. I think we estimate there's over 3,500 worms in here. Let's go for that mango seed, update that. Here it is. I think we're over 90 days now. It is packed with castings and we've got some worms in there. So, ooh, and cocoon I see. So here you go, mango seed after 90 days. Let me see if I can break it open a little bit more just to help it along. I'm just gonna follow this mango seed and see exactly how long it takes to get all the way down to finished castings, but we're getting there. And then here, I believe, this may not be the pine cone from last time, but it's one of them. Here's the other candidate. They all went in at about the same time, about 190 something days ago. They were originally in my regular compost, and then they came in here when I put some compost in there, and I have a video on that too when I did that. So let's make a area for this massive feeding, and in addition to the massive feeding, we're gonna put a whole lot of bedding to kind of absorb all the moisture. So we're set there. I'm gonna put some paper down, and I've got some just newspaper that I crumpled up. And then we'll put some of the shredded cardboard too. And then we can put this cabbage in there. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough, you know, bin material to bury everything, so I'll probably put a bunch more castings in there. And I'm just gonna get that little tiny worm ball out of the way. But here we go. This is a food popsicle that has been thawing for a little bit. I don't think we have any worms down there to get frozen to it, but here we go. Just all the moisture from weeks and weeks of freezing things is on the top here. So lots of mango peels and seeds, and lots of bananas, some greens and strawberry. I think there's some tomatoes, maybe some onion peels. Not a whole lot of those. There's some star fruit right there. So, wow, that's even bigger than I thought. Maybe I'll break it up a little bit. But that is our feeding. And I'm gonna keep checking back on this every 5 days or so. Just because I want to make sure it doesn't get overheated. And make sure that everything is going well with it. You know, no critters coming in it, that kind of thing. And I'll probably check on it daily, just kind of lift the top. But I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do? Because I don't want to pull the worms right over on this ice. I'm just going to do this, and I will come back in later today once everything is melted, and I will put the castings that are in the bed and the bedding on it. This is just a massive feeding. And I almost forgot the coffee and grit, so we'll add that. And this is looking really dry, obviously, because I have all this new stuff, but I'll check on that too and probably add some water if I need to. Just put a little bit more. Very unusual compared to how I usually end my worm bins. This is what we've got. I'll fold over all the portions of the outdoor bin to give it some cover here, but that is about it. We'll definitely be checking up on this quicker than the typical week I do, so we'll see you in about 5 days. So hope everybody's having a great day, and happy vermicomposting, everybody. Take care now.